on October 14, 2019, approximately around 3 p.m. After being unable to reach her since their last call the previous evening, Sully, a young star from K-pop band FX, was discovered dead by her manager in her room. It was a death that shocked the industry, a death that rocked the entire nation. She took her own life after years of online abuse and severe depression suffering. And there are more K-pop stars are also falling into the vicious cyberbullying who choose to end their lives as the only way to find peace. Far from glitz and glamours, many South Korean stars are the victim of hate comments and cyberbullying. They are exposed to the menace of toxic fandom and the culture of exploitation from the highly pressured K-pop industry.
Sully's death and the suicide of many other K-pop stars signal the dark side of the industry, which manufactured idols, turning them into a profitable cultural commodity, but building no protective mechanism for them. And you're watching Idol News.
Welcome back to IFO News. We are Tu Dương
and Thanh Vân.
The internet has been blowing our minds with its power and convenience. It is undeniable that it has narrowed the gap in people's communication through a variety of social networking such as Facebook, Skype, or etc. It has made our purchases become more comfortable with just one click, and there's so much more. The internet has become so integral into our modern life, but unfortunately, it has also become a haven for online harassment.
And when we're talking about online harassment or cyberbullying, we are implying mean, hurtful, tormenting, and embarrassing messages, comments, and even death threats targeting someone on social media. And Sully's case is just one of many victims who are crucified by the so-called heroes behind the keyboard. Ever since early in her career, she had been the target of criticism and bullying from Korean netizens, as Sully was always open about topics of feminism, sexuality, and mental illness, which went against the Korean social norms. She refused to play by the established rules of society for a K-pop idol, and for that, she was harassed on the internet. She received hate and criticism for almost absurd things like being braless in the public, posting pictures of her friend on Instagram, or raising her voice about women's rights.
Imagine a young girl like Sully debuting at age 15 and receiving constant hate comments and online harassment for so many years. Isn't it heartbreaking? Any forms of bullying can create memories that often last a lifetime. Now, this is just an unique issue for idols, but an epidemic that facing teens in many countries. In June 2015, a female high school student in southern Vietnam's Dong Nai province killed herself with herbicide after footage of intimate moments between her and her boyfriend was posted on social media, drawing toxic comments attacking the girl's decency. She left a note to her parents. Sorry, Dad and Mom. The girl was 16 years old.
As teens and young adults have been consistently the two groups most likely to go online, they are often the targets of cyberbullying, and this is a huge social problem. Being bullied at a young age, well, any age really, but especially at a young age, can be really terrifying and can leave a horrible consequence. And we wonder to what extent cyberbullying can affect young people's mental health and physical health. So let's hear from the expert.
I think from what I have seen, cyberbullying can have very deep impact on young people's mental as well as physical health. How does it make them feel? This can result in feeling extremely sad. They can feel depressed, anxious. They can become avoidant. They start withdrawing into a shell. They cannot communicate effectively with adults, and they can even become paranoid in that they are constantly worried that this is going to put themselves as well as the family in danger. And the third and the most important thing is this can have very damaging and long-lasting effects on self-esteem. This can also lead to more detrimental long-term effects such as even post-traumatic stress disorder, and in some extreme cases this can lead to severe depression and even suicidal thoughts and ideation or self-harming behaviors.
According to the survey study by Hanoi National University of Education among high school students in Hanoi, Nghệ, Thanh Hóa last year, 32.5% of students report that they has experienced cyberbullying at least once. This is a problem facing 1 out of every 3 students in Vietnam. Another survey done by UNICEF also in last year shows that 21% of young people who use the internet said that they have been victimized by online bullying. As Dr. Gote mentioned, victims of cyberbullying often experience anxiety, fear, depression, and low self-esteem, which could lead to physical harm.
Ôi sao không giảm cân đi? Khiếp lại lên số đo rồi này. Từ năm lớp 8 rồi đi là em bắt đầu bị rơi vào trầm cảm. Em dùng những chất kích thích, quên hết đi những cái mọi cảm giác đấy, những cái buồn bực trong cuộc sống của em. Đến một thời gian là em bị run tay run chân bởi vì em dùng kiểu có những cái chất kích thích nó cảm thấy thần kinh mình bị yếu đi, tay chân mình đụng vào là không có cảm giác gì cả.
Đầu tiên thì mình nghĩ đến cái việc rạch tay. Lúc đầu chỉ thấy nó hơi nhói một chút thôi, về sau thì thấy bình thường. Cảm thấy cái việc này là việc làm cho mình giải tỏa được tâm lý rất là nhiều. Mình bắt đầu rạch sâu hơn. Khi mà rạch tay quá nhiều như thế rồi, mình cảm thấy rất là thích. Mình muốn bắt đầu tìm đến cái chết, uống thuốc quá liều. Mình muốn giải thoát cho bản thân mình.
Welcome back to IELTS News. Why is cyberbullying so prevalent, particularly among teenagers? There are 2 reasons. Firstly, it's easy to create an anonymous account on the internet. Bullies feel like they have the power to humiliate and hurt their victims without consequence. And secondly, teenagers are easily influenced by external factors. Adolescent period is a period of growing up involving a lot of changes in one's behaviors, developments, and relationships. A period of transition from immaturity of childhood into maturity of adulthood. Hence, as teenagers grow to young adulthood, they need role models to provide them directions.
Exactly like Vince said, teenagers often look up to or even fantasize someone, often famous people, to guide them in their process of development. However, this is a double-edged sword. Let's go back to the story of Soli's death. The reason that Soli suffered bullying on social media has to do with culture of expectations and perfections created uniquely for K-pop idols. The K-pop industry is manufactured, which often produce factory girl bands or boy bands or solo singers. Korean entertainment companies like SM Tower or JYP often have a K-pop formula on how to create stars, capitalize them, manage them, and promote them with a very strict set of rules and trainings. All K-pop stars must present a perfect facade of a supremely talented and gorgeous, single, heterosexual star seemingly accessible to fans of the opposite sex. They must have a certain look, adhere to extremely strict diet, and no dating at all. By creating a fairy tale persona for K-pop idols, it has created a culture of toxic fandom who blindly worship their idols. Therefore, if K-pop idols make a mistake, even the smallest one, they will be criticized and attacked online.
And for a lot of K-pop female idols, they are not only threatened and harassed online, the internet has thrown up a whole new way to wreck their lives. It's called revenge porn. It is when a naked photos or intimate videos of people are posted online without their consent. Gohara, 28-year-old star, found dead just 6 weeks after the discovery of Soli's death. Gohara was a victim of vicious online bullying and revenge porn by her ex-boyfriend, who blackmailed her with her sex tape.
However, in the mainstream culture, there is a distinctively victim-blaming sentiment of which, if you didn't want this happen to you, then you shouldn't have taken naked pictures or kept videotape of yourself. Just watch how the news talk about it whenever it comes up.
Thực ra thì theo em á, thì em thấy như thế này. Nếu mà trách những cái bạn mà lên án, mà chế giễu hoặc là xin link những cái đường mà link của cái clip nóng đó thì cũng hơi là bị bất bình quá. Bởi vì chúng ta không thể nào kiểm soát được và cái sự tò mò đó là cái bản chất của con người. Cho nên vì thế nếu mà có trách các bạn thì chúng ta hãy trách những cái người mà quay clip đó. Chúng ta hãy tự trách bản thân của mình là tại sao đã quay những cái clip đó để một mai mà nó bị lộ ra như vậy. Thì chúng ta cũng không có quyền nói mọi người là tại sao lại tò mò như vậy. Bởi vì tò mò là bản tính của con người.
Not taking pictures of yourself don't also always work because those photos can be hacked. But regardless of that, it doesn't matter how your photos and clips are put online. The people in those tapes and photos are the victims and should be protected rather than criticized and bullied online.
Although it is very hard for law enforcement to track down cyberbullies due to the nature of the anonymity, it is important for people, lawmakers, and law enforcement to recognize that they are the victims and need protection from the society.
That's the message from IELTS News for everyone who cares and who dares to raise his voice to stop cyberbullying.